Greetings all, I hope you're treating yourselves well, and of course others. My name is Claire. We're doing a moon phase reading. I'm not sure what that means yet. It could be about cycles, or easily emotions. Our moon sign, perhaps, maybe it's talking about moon signs. Immediately, I am attracted to this color. It has showed up twice with the Strength and the Two of Pentacles. It kind of is a teal-ish, turquoise, but I think people could be healing their throat chakra. I've had a lot of issues with my throat as well this week. Jeez. It could be like a balancing. Maybe things have been said recently that felt unbalanced in whatever way. You could feel like you overshared or undershared. You feel like you were giving too much, or maybe you felt like you were receiving too much. Maybe you're just in a cycle of figuring out how to maintain being comfortable in whatever life you lead. You could be... It seems like you have like you could have a pet that you really love, or that you find strength because you own it. Oh, I wish I had a pet. You could feel like you've been working a lot. You could want rest, or you could be in a time of starting to rest, or you could be in a time of like deep contemplation. The Four of Swords is about the need to put down a sword. You could feel inclined, like an intuition to, like you see the light shining. You could feel a clarity after a time of not having clarity. Maybe you're feeling like speaking up. Maybe you feel like speaking about something. Maybe you are healing yourself in general just because you've had an issue with these things. Maybe you're figuring out what you like or want to say. Like, maybe you just are trying to heal something with your throat and or heart, because the color teal, I'll go back to that for a second, it is not completely blue and it's not completely green. It's both. So I was thinking your heart could be involved as well, because these two, the blue is represented by your throat and green is your heart. So a little bit mix of both. Seems like you could be coming to like a revelation, or wanting to. It could really be something that's in your mental as of right now. You could be figuring out these things because you are wanting to build material harvest, or wanting, with the Seven of Pentacles, wanting to figuring out your next step. Maybe you're figuring out the best way to go about your next step, or how to express your next step, how to solidify it in some way. You could be working hard at... It seems like you're doing well in a sense of like working, and that sort of energy prevails in a sense that if you just show steadfastness in one aspect of your life, usually it kind of opens the door just for that in general, like that energy. Maybe people are seeing that you're hard at work. Maybe the hard work is paying off. It just seems you have something worth like figuring out a next step. I know it sounds like obviously I might be saying this because there was just a long ass police siren going on just then, but I also was just completely drawn to this outfit that has these stripes. You could have just gotten out of jail or be dealing with legal issues of some sort. Maybe it's a bit of a confusing time in that aspect. Maybe you're dealing with some like financial aspect. Maybe something from your past is keeping... We are back. You could be trying to rebuild your house or a living situation. Maybe you're trying to rebuild a boat. I always think of rafts, and there is clearly a lot of water. Maybe you're planning a boat trip or some sort of outdoor excursion as of lately. Maybe you felt like you have not been getting enough outdoors time. Maybe you've been feeling like you haven't been getting enough sun, and you're kind of diagnosing that with maybe you've been feeling unbalanced, an imbalance, whatever the word is, but maybe you've been just feeling a need to get out of your space, see things that you haven't seen before, or see things in a different light. You could be wanting to travel to places you haven't been to just to get perspective. Maybe you're like in this path of like deep knowing, like you just kind of are wanting to experience something that you haven't before. You could have lost a pet recently, or lost a job recently. Maybe you lost a gig recently, or just not being outdoors has really it's affected you more than you thought. And when you go outside, you can like drastically feel a difference in how you are, like your attitude, just function. I think travel could definitely be very helpful in a sense of if you're wanting clarity in a situation, or trying to figure out the deeper meaning of life, trying to figure out what's next for you in life, or just wanting to bond with someone deeper. It could be you have lost someone. I'm very sorry. You just could... It seems like you're in search of something. You might not even understand what it is. Maybe you're just feeling like a tugging in your life for difference or change, or just like a deeper meaning. Maybe you're just feeling different and you're kind of chasing that dragon. So that's sense. I don't know. It's appropriate to put that term in there. Maybe you're just finding out what it means to maintain a lifestyle. Maybe you set yourself up for a certain lifestyle and you're kind of figuring out what it takes to be a part of it or maintain it. Maybe you're learning as you go, and it could just be that you're building a lot and you're realizing the weight of how much you have to offer or what you're doing. You could be really passionate about it, or it could be overwhelming, whatever you feel. Maybe it's just sinking in that you're a part of it for like the long haul, or for actuality. Just it feels very real. I try to stunt with these cards. There. You could feel as though the thoughts are just heavy on your back. You could feel almost, I heard a chip on your shoulder, whatever that means. You could feel highly emotional because you don't understand your situation. Maybe you found yourself in a situation that you want, but you don't know how to keep it going, or you just want to keep it going in some sort of like just like looming thoughts keep creeping in. Maybe you're having anxiety about your situation. The Seven of Cups is very fantasy driven. It just is, you don't really, it's a lack of understanding. Maybe you could feel like the things that you're doing are taking too long or not showing any results, and that is stressful, or you're just feeling like a streak of bad luck. Maybe lack of motivation. Maybe you're feeling travel could help you get motivation or find something that you've been looking for that you don't know what you're looking for yet. It could just all just be a huge mystery, but there's just a big feeling of it. And this has two people on the card. Maybe you feel as though you're not being seen. Maybe you feel like you're not being heard. Or maybe you're just like watching situations unfold in front of you and you would like to find more control in them. Maybe that's a deeper feeling. You are not wanting to be controlling, but you feel as though for the first time in your life that you're finding awareness and how you can control your life better, or what you can push towards to not see the same results that you've gotten. Yeah. You could feel really enthusiastic. Maybe you are feeling, we have the blue again, but yeah, it's like kind of deep. Maybe you are feeling some deep emotions about something. This card is also very cool. I love. It's, the Knight of Swords. And it's like a reaper, kind of like supporting a knight or just a horseman. It's someone being guided by either maybe again you've lost something, or maybe you felt a downfall of some sort. Maybe you're being guided by the things that you have once been scared of. Maybe nightmares. Maybe you're having recurring nightmares and you're wanting to get rid of them. You're being guided by something that might be kind of unpleasant, but it's an enthusiasm towards bettering. It feels good, even if it comes from a place that has felt like a drag, just unpleasant, maybe unloving, consistently bad. Maybe you yourself have felt very hardened as of lately and you are wanting to shake that off. I hope you can see these cards. It's a mermaid, but she doesn't like have a head. Where her head would be is plants. It's like coral, and then there's these kind of little gremlin looking fish. they're eels, but their eyes are like bulbous and nightmarish. I'm very attracted to the fish for some reason. Maybe you're feeling motivated because people have come at you a certain way. Maybe you're feeling motivated because you want to find something, because you've been told something. The King of Cups can be standoffish. So you could hold that role. You could be someone that has been withholding when it comes to emotions, and now you're just over it. You don't really like those sort of results. Whether you have been the person it could be a give and take. You could be you and the people around you, or just you or just them. Whatever happened. But it seems like there might be clouded emotion, like the situation might be clouded because of emotions or bad information. Again, maybe you're just now getting over that feeling. Yeah, this is interesting. I like this card. You could definitely be done fighting, or done fighting yourself, fighting a situation, just swinging here. Like, in my mind, I just heard Prism of Life by Enigma, but my camera's about to die. You could be a very playful person, but in a goofy way, or have a very goofy sense of humor, and it was just hardened for a second, or maybe you're coming out of a period. You're really finding that you like being a certain way that is different than you've been. It just seems like you found clarity in not being combative or not giving what people have gave to you. If it hasn't been revealed to you already, because I kind of like flipped over the cards, so it kind of felt like maybe a new energy. You could be coming into stability or just happier times. It feels like brightness. Look at this color. It's just feels fresh. I think you're coming into a time of new ideas. It's feeling like a breakthrough in a form of like mentality, or just like the mental wherewithal that you have for yourself and maybe others, and you're kind of feeling like flexing that, figuring, or like putting it to the test. Maybe you've come up to these new ideas, but you haven't really put them in motion. So it seems you could be finally getting that opportunity, or getting the will to start that. And it seems like you have a lot of luck on your side. These are really pretty colors. You have what it takes. I almost guarantee it. It's attractive. Your change is attractive, or your mentality is attractive. And when I say that, I mean like prosperous. It feels like success. It doesn't have to be success on the first try, but it feels like new, lighter. Feels... One more. Yeah, I really feel like you're coming together with motion, action, Knight of Wands. You might not have all the answers, but you're putting in the work, and it's very fresh. It could only be a feeling yet again, but something you're actually giving into. The thoughts are there, the drive is there. You don't have to know everything on your path, but your openness to receive your path, like your future is just as hungry for you. I feel it, like, really very much so. All these colors are just very good together, so it seems like alignment is finding you. Good luck. Get to know Olivia. Hi, hello, aloha. You could have a big heart. You could feel as though life has been against you, even though you have always felt like you're in the right place. You could have a sense of like a loner, or around people you still feel very much alone. You could be very social, even very active, like with your friends, or you could bring people together. I think you still feel very solitary in everything that you do. Like, maybe you have a lot of hands in things, but you consistently hold back in every situation. There's very few, if any, situations that have seen you completely and truly the whole way. You could feel as though people do not understand you. Often, you people could be nice to you, but you go through cycles a lot where you have really close friends and they just peter out or like simmer out. You could have really intense relationships and they just don't stand the test of time. Or just you have very few friends, maybe the Six of Wands, it was in reverse, and it seems just friendship, it could seem visually as though you have moved on a lot from people, or maybe you just feel that way. You're on your path, you are searching for your path almost, if not all your life. Almost all you that you can remember has been searching for something in higher knowledge, or every way. You could be in this constant pursuit for knowledge or power. You are someone that wants to be understood, but you almost want to be feared, could be, or you want people to understand that there's a lot of sides to you, and maybe you are very emotional and you want to show that to people, but you also want people to have respect for you. Not that like people should not respect emotional people. I am a crybaby. I'm very emotional. I love to say everything that I feel, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I love me. But what I'm saying is, I think that you really like yourself, and you might teeter a line where that sits on people heavy. Like, it might not always work to your advantage. Maybe your sense of self has intimidated people, or maybe you've overcome a lot of things, so it takes a lot to sit with you at the table, or you feel like you give a lot, so, and you might not have, like, you're good at coming up with ideas, or you feel like you're really lucky. Even if you have seen a lot of bad things, the good things that you've seen kind of outshine them. I think either you have like the Page of Pentacles, you either have a really good sense of just positivity, or you're still standing after a lot of things. And it could be both. from time to time, maybe you get really emotional, even though deep down you know you have a lot. Like the Emperor I'm looking at, like, it seems like you've got a good sense of like the next step to take. You have a good sense of how to maintain power in situations, and you might even have like be blessed in some sense or some way, like, or that's how you move. You just know that things are going to work out, or things have worked out for you. Maybe you go up and down, like you could have very high highs and low lows, and you always know that the bottom you will crawl from always, but it sucks that you have to reach those sort of lows. Maybe you're kind of wanting to figure out why that's happening and how you can avoid that in the future, or if it's just like something that you're gonna like when will it give? You got the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Let's figure out what that means though. Besides the highs of highs and lows of lows, you could feel like your actions have caused you to crumble. Like you could go back and forth between choosing best things in your life, or choosing people that you feel really impact your life. Not in like a bad way. Maybe you just have a lot of riffraff. You could know a lot of people, or just have to deal with a lot of people on a daily basis. You got you could have recently won a court case. You got justice. You could have been graced with something by someone. Maybe someone, you got awarded something. Maybe you got an apprenticeship that you wanted, or got recognized in some way, form, or fashion. Justice has come to prevail. I think you've been guided in something. You've perhaps walked away in a situation. It could have been a home situation, or maybe you dodged a bullet with something that seemed too good to be true. I think you just managed to walk away at the right time. And you're finally realizing the feeling of getting out before something gets really bad. Like maybe you have a knack for being places at the wrong time, or like holding on too long, or just like not getting it right, and you finally did, and you have a taste for that, and you're kind of like, okay, let's get this going, I want to keep this momentum. And the Ten of Pentacles, you have something to fight for, absolutely, or in your mind's eye, or you're coming up with a lot of really good ideas. You've got good people around you, maybe people that can benefit you in some way. If you've started to hang out with people, I think that they could really help you become the best. Maybe oh my gosh. Maybe you felt like you've had to fight a lot lately, or you've done a lot of work to no avail. I don't know if I'm going to keep in what just happened, but I like bent the heck out of this card. 5, 6, 7, and it's a 7 of Wands. So maybe you're feeling defensive, or maybe you're feeling less defensive towards something that you have been prior to. Maybe you have felt like maybe you felt a little imbalanced lately. or felt like your actions, like you're doing too much work. Maybe you've been listening to people that you don't care to any longer, or you're feeling very, maybe you're feeling goofy for how you're seeing yourself in the past. Like, I always think in my mind's eye, just observing myself, like, I would have hated to hang out with a person that I used to be just not even that long ago. So it could be that kind of situation. Maybe you're realizing how much potential your life has as of lately, or just recently. There's a lot going on that you're feeling maybe weakened by. Maybe you're feeling more emotional. Maybe you have not wanted to communicate as much because you're going through a lot of emotions, and maybe that reaching out to someone could help if you needed to, or some like physical touch could really help if you have people that you can physically touch in some way. Maybe get something for yourself that's nice, or that's something that you've wanted. Just a way to bring yourself back up, because I don't think there's any reason for you to be down as of lately. I, for some reason, feel that strongly. You could have done something out of character, maybe, or felt weak for showing your emotions. Maybe that's what it was. That is silly. Never feel weak for showing your emotions, unless it was like naturally, like if you really feel like it was a bad thing to do, then some rest could help, or like laying in the park, laying down more frequently. Maybe you've had some like backaches, or you've been having physical pain of some sort. You could go to a spa, or go sit in some hot water if that's possible for you. Like a bath, like a salt bath could be really helpful. In the last pile, I'm not sure, because I could have gotten distracted, it was around the same time, but Prism of Life by Enigma is a very, very good song. And yeah, it's an extremely good song, and listening to it could be cool if you're into that sort of thing. I've been doing this really cool thing called lately. I was about to do a really bad joke, I guess, because life was like, absolutely not, don't say that out loud. I was about to say, I've been doing this really cool thing lately called music, and now that I said it out loud, it was about to be a stinker of a joke, so you're welcome for not saying it out loud the first time like that. You've got a very strong sense of self, strong mentality about you. I wouldn't, if you're feeling bad about showing emotions, or maybe you've met people that are new and you haven't gotten to show yourself, but you're feeling like a want to be closer to them, be yourself. You are fantastic. You've got the High Priestess. It's a glorious thing. This person, very in tune with their light and dark self, enough to receive, like, life is but a game for the High Priestess, because she has a sixth sense almost that she is guided by life. She is a part of life. So even when she falls, she figures out how to alchemize that into whatever it needs to be. You know when to find solace, and you know when to stare at the sun. Like, you know when to shine and when to not. think you've got really good perspective. If people come to you for advice, even if you don't really feel like you want to do so, I think it would be really nice of you to give these people advice. Or if you're being asked to do something, it would be really, I think it could help, even if there doesn't seem to be a reason or rhyme or reason, there doesn't seem to be something to do with, like you don't feel a need to do it. It could help in the future in some way. I'm not really sure. It could help you be successful in some way, or just look good for you in some way. I heard on a resume, maybe people are watching you. It seems like you could be asked something or asked to do something, and it just, at first you're kind of like, what? What? That doesn't even make sense. Why? Or someone asks you for advice. It seems like it could help you get momentum. It keeps on popping into my head. For something that could help build. You also have the 9 of Wands, and that's like a card of success and like maybe even a coming home. You could be like coming around to a time of where you weren't around people so much, or you weren't around people that you cared about so much, or you just have felt kind of like a disconnect, or like around people could have been not your favorite thing. Or you just, connecting was just not your cup of tea. Even if you have a lot of friends or none, whatever, just some way, even if it was like you had a hard time finding confidence in the things you said, or you just felt an imbalance when you left conversations or hanging out, being a part of social things, or you felt spread thin, even online, something, you were just giving something that you felt maybe wasn't reciprocated, or you're coming into a time where it seems easier, lighter, more transformational. You could feel like changing the way that you are in some form or fashion. Your housing, maybe location, the way you put on your makeup, maybe the way you dress, maybe a routine that you hold, maybe things that you've been eating. You're changing up something, lifestyle, and it is looking good on you. It is attracting people, or it's attracting a more stable lifestyle, a home, better emotions, more balanced emotions. It's attaining things towards your higher goal, and even if you never had a higher goal, that's coming more clear. One more. 5 of Swords. Where'd they get the knife? I think you are letting go of the want for any sort of detriment. I think life is becoming more simple, or you are finding ways to get around the things that have felt unfair, or you're dusting the cobwebs off. Maybe you're getting to like the summit of the mountain, and you are shining in some way, and you're really looking for people that kind of emit that same frequency, like that energy. You were just I think you're motivated by the things that you know now. Maybe even the things that you've been through have really started to show how they helped you, or you're really seeing the capabilities of your, like, how to alchemize your downfalls, I think. Or I think maybe where you once were shadowy, you now are filling it with emotion. I don't know why I wanted to say that, but it looks good. Maybe you feel like you're in a dream world. Maybe you're fighting this feeling. Maybe you feel like your surroundings are not conducive to feeling what you do, but you look good, and it definitely will look good in the future. Like, if success has not really done well for you in the emotional realm, whether having it or the lack of it, you are going to start looking really good, which will show you might have summited the mountain that you're at, so you're feeling like you see things that you didn't see before. It is looking really beautiful, and you're starting to see new mountains. You're like seeing new challenges or new things to overcome, and that is what that is. That's what I feel like it is. It's just a new day, and you are finally inspired by a new day instead of being like a new day. And yeah, you gotta know I love you. Pile 3, hello. I think you have recently reached an emotional threshold, whether it be you are wanting to dive deeper into emotions as of lately, or knowledge has made you emotional, or you're done with feeling bad for being emotional. It's something to do with you offering, you're willing to show what, in the face of like adversity, you're willing to show how you're feeling. That could be that could be new. It could be something in you that's growing, like you've seen decent results from adjusting how you think about being more in touch with your emotional aspects or side. Maybe you didn't ever really look at yourself as that kind of person, or like you've never been tested in a way of people haven't reached out to you to understand your emotions, or you've just not been in many relationships, or you're like a goofy person. Maybe you have a persona for being funny over romantic, or that's kind of been your thing. You've chosen to be that way for whatever reason. Maybe the more serious aspects of life have been harder for you, or not something that you've been able to stabilize up until recently. I think you've kind of put an end with the death card. I think you put an end to that sort of lifestyle or a way of thinking. You could wear a lot of stripes as well. I'm getting that. There's tons of stripes in these pictures. I think you are tired of being withholding when it comes to your emotions, or having to be. Maybe you're in work situations that you haven't said your piece, or you haven't said your piece in some way. I hear that term, so maybe you haven't been able to speak your mind, and you're kind of figuring out how to do that in a way that is attractive for you and others. And when I say attractive, I always mean like it's pleasant. It gets the results that you want. You want to be moved forward. You want to find redemption in everything that you do. You could be like someone that's very serious, or maybe you've been very serious about something, which makes you seem very not aggressive, I wouldn't have to say, but steadfast, headstrong. You know what you want. You might not always express that to people, but deep down, even if you're really horrible at showing that, you could have that. Yeah, maybe it's felt maybe you have a cycle of not showing yourself and having poor results, but you haven't figured out a way that you feel comfortable with doing such a thing. And that's important. It really is. Like, you can feel bad for expressing yourself in certain ways and also get like poor results, and that could like pile on to the things that you already felt about this. Even like you could be feeling like you want to be more emotional, you've like had emotional upheaval, maybe you lately have had reason to want to be expressive in some form or fashion, maybe like artistic or just like that, just in general. Maybe life is making you feel just wanting to express yourself, just to be more understood, and maybe you're feeling more powerful, maybe you're finding ways to express yourself. You could be coming into hobbies, or you're finding better ways to go about life, and I think you're like wondering when it's gonna have the results that you want, or maybe you are missing some people. Maybe you've been really praying for something, you've been really wishing for something. Maybe you haven't seen results in something that you've constantly wanted, and you're like, I need to adjust something in my life because the practicality of getting this is attainable, but the way I've been going about it has made it impossible. Like, something could seem impossible only because the way your life is set up at the time. And that's what it is. Let's see. Maybe your house has been unstable up until a recent point. Maybe you've had issues with cars or growing things or intention. Maybe you've had a 5 of Swords. I think I'm going to say it every time. I don't know if it's ever going to get annoying. Where'd they get the knife from? 5 of Swords is being blindsided by fighting poorly. Like, you knew conflict was happening, but someone was fighting dirty, and we're not in that arena. You could have been fighting, or you could have been fighting for something. Maybe you're going after something, or just life was a battle for a while, and you're done with maybe your lack of emotion. You've seen, like, you're realizing that you're surrounded by swords because of your lack of emotion. Maybe you're wanting to attain a higher knowledge, or you're really after some sort of maybe religion or spirituality, figuring out yourself better. Maybe you've come to some knowledge and realized that could be your meaning to life. Like, not everyone's is the same, but I don't know if that's obvious or whatever, but you could be figuring out your meaning or the start. Maybe it's a feeling right now, but it feels like more structured than that. But there is this third eye that I always see. It's the Hierophant, who is a person of, like, it could even be like, you could be scholarly. Maybe you're teaching people, maybe you have to teach people. I just heard maybe you are having to teach people and it's becoming more difficult than you thought, or you're realizing that it takes a certain finesse to teach people. You realize that you're on a stage, or the job or lifestyle that you lead, you realize you are in front or being viewed. Maybe you realize the impact you have on people as of lately, or you've given out really good advice, or you're realizing that the emotions that you show are better for you, or they will help you attain something that you want, or a lifestyle or knowledge in some way. Because feelings, your attitude towards things can really progress lifestyle in almost every way. You could be dressing differently, or starting a project or just hanging out with your kids more. You could be learning because of your kids. You could be learning from your kids. You could be talking to some people that are younger. Your mind is feeling maybe heavier with thoughts, and you're trying to figure out how to light the flame. You could be feeling overwhelmed because you're realizing how much potential you have, and it's just that has not been there before because she's pregnant. But it makes me more think of like pregnant with ideas. You got a fat ass head full of like things, like you're realizing your potential, I think. 8 of Wands. Yeah, I think you're putting down anything that doesn't suit your pursuit of this higher, like your new self, whatever you're thinking. Maybe you've been being more lighthearted or watching more lighthearted content. You could be watching more cartoons. A lot of people have been talking about, or I've noticed in my life, a lot of people have been like not watching horror movies as much, just to kind of get the paranoia out of their mind. So that could be helpful, especially if you're feeling emotional, or just like if you feel an imbalance of some sort of emotion or something that feels a little off kilter in your life. I think there could be some sort of action that is the root, or that could help alleviate that emotion that you are trying to extinguish. You're very set on your path, though. If you haven't, you have to be, because this is the 8. Or you could just be in life. It doesn't have to be like at all times, but intermittent. You could like come back to these ideas, or maybe some things that you felt in childhood or throughout your life. You're kind of realizing that was supposed to help you on your way. Maybe some thoughts or some things. Maybe you have like little tics or quirks or actions that you've had throughout your life that you're realizing why you do that, or what they could be useful for. You're really coming to a sense of using all of your things that you own to your benefit, even if they're downfalls. I think that you're really figuring out how to fix things, or like how to use your negatives and turn them into advantages. Maybe you're finding out how to approach people more. You're realizing maybe your words are very strong, or your actions are very strong. Maybe you've used your words and actions in the past in whatever way, and you're realizing controlling them could be beneficial. The Ace of Swords is power. It could be like thrusting, like fast or not thought out power, so it could also start to cut you as well. It could be used for something you don't want it to become your downfall some way, so always maintain a sense of self or respect. Maybe stay humble in situations. Even if you're right, give things time or patience with others. People are on their own pace, people are on their own path, even if they are like scientifically bad, like on paper, just bad, straight, whatever. And there's no judge in any way, but because people have their issues, like it doesn't matter. It does not matter. And I think you feel that as well. I think you're just like, let me get out of the way if I need to. And how can I, if you can help, I don't think you're opposed, or maybe you're like getting away from these situations could help. They could only be helpful. Maybe you have been a bleeding heart in some aspect or in your life. carrying the weight of things. Maybe your environment has been very chaotic and you just haven't had a lot of ways to control that at some point, and you're finally finding control of the hermit and you had it upright. So I think you are finding comfort in controlling your environment, or knowing when to step back from situations, or how to alleviate situations with knowledge and restraint. You can be right, and it can show over time. You don't always have to be so forceful with the things that you know and feel, or justice doesn't have to be served, and especially not by your hand. I think that you are finding grace and elegance in your downfalls, or your upheavals. You are really not finding a need to shine, and that is illuminating you. Like a light is being lit because you are no longer searching, or you are understanding that the flow, there's like an ebb and a flow, there's a give and a take. Expecting things is the fastest route to disappointment. Yeah, and the Page of Cups in reverse. Maybe you've had a time where, or like a lifestyle where you've had to expect a lot, or you have expected a lot. Maybe a lot was wanted from you or known of you, and you felt maybe you've had to reach a certain bar, or something was being asked of you, and it's become a part of your life. Maybe it's affected you in a way that is emotional, or it affects the way that you live in some form or fashion. I think that you're either finding balance, or like alleviate, like it's not so much of a burden, or it has been a really big burden as of lately. I think you're being more lighthearted, even if things do not come out the way that you know that they should or have in the past. You're finding that maybe that's a sign. Like you're taking things as a sign now, and instead of the pushback, or it's grace. I'm finding grace. I think your emotions are really helping you, or healing your emotions could be really helping. Maybe talking to people more is helping balance out things. You're finding that not being around just a certain type, or just the people you've been around, or something about like perspective. I think you're finding that maybe you've been around really judgmental people, or you've been judged a lot, or you have done that. Maybe there has been like a court thing. I've mentioned it in the other piles. If you need to relax a little bit, Prism of Life by Enigma is an amazing song. But judgment, I think you are one of those people that kind of sees themselves as a kid at heart. Maybe not always knowing your path, but being on it. You could feel scorned or scarred. Maybe something in life has really, maybe you just have like a dark style, and that's like your steez. It could just be that maybe you just have really dark features. I think that you're attractive to people because of something that's like, I keep on hearing haggard, but that's not a pleasant word. If we're trying to think of you have like sex appeal in some way, but it's like cute. I think that you don't show that a lot, and that's what makes it adorable. Like you could be like very cherub-like, or like, pristine in some way or form, and people are like, I wonder what they're like in other forms of their life, if like there's a lot of curiosity because of something. Maybe the way that you speak is different. Maybe you know a lot of languages. Maybe you've been a lot of places. Maybe you deal with people differently. Maybe like you treat everyone so differently. Maybe you're spreading yourself thin, maybe, or maybe you felt that in the past, and you're really balancing that notion out, because the Six of Pentacles is about give and take, and this was in reverse. So maybe being around a lot of people has caused a lot of noise for you in your mind, and you've kind of that's why you've decided to recluse as of lately. You find that the way that you are emotional is really attractive. Maybe you're aware of that, or you know that you have a lot to give because you are lighthearted, or like there's a certain like whimsy, like you could be really into folklore or like nerdy in some way. I think that you just have like a very it's like wonder. There's you've got a finesse about you. You definitely are good at the give and take, even if you weren't at one point. I think now there's a sense of you have a very strong sense of yourself, self-worth, balance. Maybe you're balancing out your lifestyle. Maybe you haven't had such a stable lifestyle and it's coming to, or you're finding stability with someone. You could be thinking of good thoughts as of right now to help you through this time. If you're going through a time, it seems you're wanting to give to people no matter how it has felt in the past. Oh yeah, 6. So June could be important to you. That's my mother's birthday, June 6th, and my dad is on the 7th and I'm the 12th. It's a lot of Geminis in my family, and then my brother is a Scorpio and he's very emotional, and we're like emotionally withholding, so I don't know what he did in a past life to deserve us as a family, but may the gods save my brother from the things he's had to endure in our family. So maybe you are going back to your family, or maybe you're hanging out with people from your past. Maybe you're enjoying past friends. Maybe you're circling back on someone. Maybe you're finding success with someone. Love, romance, you're feeling it. You're feeling amorous, you're feeling good towards friends, or you're feeling like hanging out again. Maybe you've gone through periods of like no, yes, what do I want to do? Do I want to be around people or not? It seems if you haven't started, or maybe if you're going into your hermit phase, it's to find better people. If you're coming out of your hermit phase, I think you are ready to lay down your sword, and you're just kind of figuring out how to maintain and keep good people around you. And I think recalling on people, good times, keeping good thoughts in your head, and asking for good people around you is the way. My camera died like right at the end. I think that thinking back on the good times that you've had in situations is, if you have not found a way to attain like friendship or love, whatever you're after, think about it as though it is, think about the good times, and go towards the good times. Like if you can hang out with people, do that. I think that kind of energy, it could only be prosperous for you. It could only be good. And my camera died just so I could like say that. Great. I like called you back just to say bye. But yeah, you gotta know I love you.